Hello, welcome to this edition of Geeks Out. My name is Nolan.
I'm Jono, Jarrett.
And today we are going to talk about the 3 characters that fucking won 2013. This isn't about like who's our favorite character. It's about like who triumphed this year, who took a bold turn, who did something exciting, who was written well, who got a good costume change. Whatever you determine winning is for you.
I can't stand it. Who?
Okay, wow. I guess we're gonna jump right into the list. Who's your number 3?
Batwoman. Batwoman won. Batwoman fucking won 2013.
You sold that with conviction after
I really
second
mean
pause.
it. I really mean it.
All right.
Her creative team walked off because of creative differences with DC, created tons of publicity for the book, tons of publicity going into 2014 with a hot new creative team. The character maybe didn't win so much in the terms of she didn't get marry her lady, but this opens up whole new dramatic and narrative possibilities that the audience wasn't shipping. So
right.
Now you've got on the edge of their seat fans for Batwoman, all ready for brand new creative blood, all ready to judge and hate and comment and Tumblr, all their stuff.
You know, I just think that was a lot of like really deep rationale for you just wanting to pick someone who had the coolest wigs.
Well, I didn't mention the wigs. I'm sorry.
Let's not pretend this isn't about wigs.
Flame red wigs.
All right, fair enough. You want to know who my number 3 is?
Please.
You never ask. My number 3 is Green Arrow, and here's why. I don't watch the show. I won't watch the show. There's too many abs. I won't watch shows with abs. They make me hate my body, and I want to cut off the fat parts with scissors. However, this is a show that like non-comic book people are talking about, which is very weird. I find a lot of people are asking me if I know about Arrow, and I'm watching Arrow. And then Arrow is one of those titles that had sort of gotten like a weird sort of reboot in the New 52. And then the success of the show and how much gravitas it had and how much grittiness it had seems to reflect on the book, and now it's drawn differently, and Jeff Lemire, who was awesome, is writing it. I just feel like this is someone who, there's a lot of characters who got sort of the shaft, and I'll murder you with my hands. But that's what Kathy Lee says, right? And that's what she used to say. That was her catchphrase when she hosted a show. Okay. But I think that this is someone who got the point. Finally got the point. I'm going to murder myself. Okay.
Bullseye.
Who's your number 2?
Miss America. In The Young Avengers, Miss America Chavez, who is an other-dimensional character, a beautiful powerhouse, strong female character. We're big fans of those here at Geeks Out. She came from, I don't even know, some fucking other book that I never read, never heard of it. I loved it. All of a sudden it showed up in the...
a book that no one read. You weren't the only one who didn't read that book.
Who's the guy who draws it? McKelvey. McKelvey does a beautiful job with her. She's got the coolest costumes because it's like streetwear and fashion and superhero costumes all together with like a real tight, not at all Tommy Hilfiger, like red, white, and blue stripe kind of theme going through it.
Like a cosmic Boricua fighting crime on the 6.
Wow, I wish I had had those words. I wish I had had them. But I think
I'm Hispanic, so none of that is racist.
No. I think, in fact, even more than she had when I brought it up. Now, she is fully won 2013. That's my number 2.
Okay, very cool. My number 2 is Loki.
Hey. Same book, right?
Same book, Young Avengers. Yeah, high five. Nice. I think that Loki, because... just incredibly clever and well written as like a little boy, like this little creepy little boy character in Young Avengers, and he's sort of the reason the team is together, and he's also the person who betrayed the team. I thought Young Avengers was so plot heavy, it was really hard to tell what he did and what he wanted, but it was still kind of interesting to read. I don't know. I think he also just wins for sort of being funniest. And then at the end they change him into like a teenager, and it's a really nice segue for all those people who want to read like a sexy Tom Hiddleston version of the character in the books.
There you hit those 2 words. That I was waiting for the Tom Hiddleston reference because I think in the
words were not sexy teenager.
No, because I think that the Tom Hiddleston is the
Is it
greater,
Hiddleston?
Isn't it the guy from the movie? Tom
I
Hiddleston?
thought it was Middleston.
No, it's Hiddleston with an H.
I'm drunk.
Tequila. I think that in the greater pop cultural stew of the year, he definitely elevated the character Loki through the performance in the Avengers and ongoing performances in Thor 2, and so beloved by audiences and by the internet, so that it feeds
when you went to
into
the screenings
naturally
of
occurring
when you went to
love
screenings
for
of
the character
Thor,
of the book.
when you went to screenings of Thor, who did all the minorities in the theater clap for? Loki. Oh no.
Sure.
Okay. Who's your number one?
I went to a theater without any minorities. I was very, very careful about that in my screenings. So I can't even answer that question.
Good to know.
Unless, there must have been a minority because there wasn't a whole theater full of me. So but there might have been left-handers. There might have been people wearing glasses. In which case, they probably, being in the minority, also clapped for Loki.
That's probably true. Like we got real political, and we took that to a very safe place. Thank you so much for that. Yeah. Who's your number one?
Winning the year is it's not actually a specific character. It is the bisexual. I think that 2013, especially in mainstream, thoughtfully written superhero comic books, the character of the bisexual really, really won. Even
though in real life they're infuriating.
Yes! Oh my god! But on paper, either Dakin or Lightspeed from Avengers Academy or Prodigy. Just newly in Young Avengers, apparently the book that we love the most from this past year. It's a subject that has not been handled well by the comics community, largely either making somebody super, super gay to the point of like, obviously this is a gay character, so everybody shut up about it, or super, super straight so that there's never even a hint of queerness. Right. But by allowing...
come on, Thor, just let, one finger in there.
Oh my god,
it's just the tip. Kill anyone.
Just the tip, right? He's got a leather thong on his fucking hammer. What more do you want? But I think that this year saw a lot of bisexual characters really expanding the spectrum of sexuality we saw represented well and in an exciting, dynamic, creative, and responsible way in a lot of the comic books that we enjoy. And I think that's good for the children.
Very good. That's a very strong decision. Yeah. And the kind of decision bisexuals can't make. Just kidding. My number one is Ilyana Rasputin from Uncanny X-Men. I think that this has been the year for magic. They've sort of been, Kieran Gillen, who writes Young Avengers. Apparently, I've got a serious boner for this guy. But over the years, he sort of crept her into the story, and at first it was as the functional teleporter for all the X-Men teams, and then it became she's actually kind of a traitor, and then it's actually kind of okay, she wasn't really, she was just sort of fucked up, and now she wants to do the right thing. The costume wins. She's the only person, fictional or non-fictional, that's been able to rock bangs for 30 years and have them always look right.
Yeah. Well, she's that Russian blonde that, it really only looks right with
exactly. You think she cuts her own hair too, right? Yeah.
That's all they got.
Yeah. I think the stories are good. I will say that she goes from being sort of like a demonic person who talks like a demonic person to talking like a dumb teenage girl sometimes. But in general...
But that's right. That's what she is. She's like a teenage demon sorceress, which, one would think you would naturally swing back and forth.
I watched all of Sabrina the Teenage Witch, so I'm going to disagree with you.
I will raise you charmed in response.
I imagine her owning a cat with the voice of Martin Mull in the next year.
That was Martin Mull?
It sounded like Martin Mull.
Oh.
I pretend it is.
I hope it wasn't Martin Mull. Martin Mull, if you're watching this, I hope that wasn't you. And you should scrub your IMDb page. Did you see Kevin Wada's redesign of Magic on the Tumblr-ness?
No.
On the internet? Oh, it's beautiful.
Really good.
Like China doll, black mask where her eyes are to follow in, big demon horns and lots more spikes, a second sword. It's really beautiful.
When I'm not looking at Tumblr porn, I will check that out. In the meantime...
Seek it out, Kevin Wada, W-A-D-A.
In the meantime, that was our characters who won in 2013. I'm Graham Nolan.
Comment below to tell us who you think won in 2013 or why our choices are horrible. And we'll get this whole conversation started.
And he's Jono Jarrett. Thank you very much.
He's Graham Nolan. Oh, that guy.